Welcome to Champion Your Culture, the podcast, a weekly live show where we explore the power of culture and leadership in business. I'm Ryan McCarty.
And I'm George Rogers, and we go live every week to learn from each other and hear from other experts about how to effectively champion our team members and ourselves. So join us live every Wednesday on our social networks or subscribe. You can listen to Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Now, let's champion your culture.
What is up? Getting back into the live studio, as we do every week, man.
Every week, almost every week. Sometimes we're out and about.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time we are live in the studio.
Yeah.
Man, we have just a few weeks left of 2023.
Here we go.
Pop the collar.
Oh,
Make you holla.
Pop the collar,
So,
everybody.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. Everybody, thank you again for joining us another week here on Champion Your Culture, the podcast sponsored by
Culture of Good.
Culture of Good.
Yeah.
Appreciate everything that the team there does for
say
us. Our team.
Sponsored and powered.
Powered by, yes. It's
really
more powered by Culture of Good.
Got the power.
You just went soprano. You took my spiel.
It's about as good as I can get on soprano right now.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, only on your third cup of coffee.
And 3 hours of sleep.
And 3 hours of sleep. So
yeah.
Congrats to you, Mr. All-Nighter. I don't know if I can do all-nighters anymore. I can hang into about 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I only need, and Amber always makes fun of me, and it drives her nuts because all I need really 3 to 5 hours. And I'm like, I can go.
Yeah.
I can go. Now, long-term stability, I don't know if that's healthy for me at this age.
No, that's what I feel right now. I'm like 3 hours, I'm pumped, third cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I'm jacked up on Mountain Dew, bro.
I wonder if you can get some tea in your life that really gets you like fired up.
I don't know.
Like coffee. What if it's a mental thing? Everybody thinks coffee like gives them this energy. I'll be honest. Coffee has not done anything for me in my life.
Honestly, coffee doesn't get me.
There's only one cup of coffee that has ever made me twitch and fidget and freak out. And it was at the Wainwrights. My buddy Kyle, Kyle up in Angola. Shout out to him. I don't know what was in his coffee, but every morning, we always.
What was it called? Cocaine coffee?
I don't know.
Crack coffee.
But like they get coffee, so they get coffee from all of their coffee snobs, whatever.
So hey, I order my coffee.
I don't know where this coffee was from, but I got a cup of coffee, and I tell you what, that day I was like, I thought I was freaking out, like some Coke was something.
I need to bring
in my veins. I freaked out. That was only cup of coffee, but other coffee.
Do you have ADHD?
Probably. I got high definition ADHD. I'm like ADHD HD2.
7K.
7K. I'm 5G. I got 10G.
Well,
never. So, I was as a kid. I was on Ritalin and all the other stuff.
Do you know that though? Do you know that coffee for some, not most, but a lot of people think, well, if I drink coffee at like 9 at night, I'm gonna be up all night. I can drink coffee at 9 p.m., 10 right before I go to sleep. ADHD, man. Yeah. People with ADHD, coffee.
Ooh, look at the
sometimes has the opposite effect for us.
Right.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Hopefully I'm not falling asleep during that. 3 cups of coffee in is like eating turkey, Right, if you have ADHD, I'm just taking a nap halfway through the show.
That's funny.
No, but 3 hours sleep because my daughter Brenna was selected her art piece was selected to be a permanent installation in the Indianapolis airport for their 50 year. Shout out to Brenna.
Oh,
yeah.
Shout out, Brenna.
Oh, that's awesome.
You like that,
Brenna? That's perfect. Yeah, it kind of sounds like the real deal. But yeah, she's it's 60 foot in the air over the main escalators, 100 foot long. Wow. And it's called Blue Skies.
Blue Skies.
Yeah, it's just
what's going to happen when I go there for the first time?
It's so gorgeous, man. It's already done.
January. I got 2 flights in January out of there, and I'm literally going to play Johnny. I'm going to play some little Blue Eyes.
Blue Eyes.
Well,
Johnny,
you know
the song Blue Skies.
Frankie.
Blue Skies.
I'm going to play a little Blue Skies. There's got to be a song out there that goes with it. Just the vibe, a piece.
I saw the worst video the other day where a guy walked up to a guy and was like, "Oh, you got blue eyes." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "One blue that way and one blue that way." The dude was looking in two different directions, dude.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Blue eyes. That sounds like one of those jokes back in the 90s, yo. I was dying, homie. I was like, golly.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
That's the HR situation that's going to happen right away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, HR is calling me in. Anyway.
I don't have anything to do with that, Miss Kim.
Yeah. I have blue eyes, so I can joke about
it. Blue.
So how was did you get some sleep last night? What's going on in your world?
I got some sleep. So I did this fast.
Oh yeah. How's
started
that
Sunday,
going, man?
It went it's Sunday, Monday,
gone?
Tuesday, and then today's restoration day. So
Okay.
I'm gonna wait until this afternoon.
Okay.
To eat.
What's the meal? What's the comeback?
I don't know. I got to think about it because I don't want to have something. I don't want to have too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like just small, like a calorie count type deal.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, because my hope and goal then is that I'll do this. Once a month. I'll do a 2 to 3 day liquid fast.
Yeah.
And then I just
That's
do
good.
intermittent from there on. So like I only eat between 11 and 7 or 12 to 8. There's an 8 hour window where I can eat, and I can usually eat whatever I want to.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to be as properly healthy as possible. I'm trying to cut out a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
It's Christmas season, and one of my favorites, me and my best friend Jennifer, we smash. Now I won't tell you, like, she smashed a whole box. She smashed like 4 boxes of ho-hos from the grocery store to her home.
Yo.
Yeah, she had the munchies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what she was thinking. She was like, mine was somewhere else, obviously.
Yeah.
So Jennifer eats ho-hos, but like we both have a passion for the Christmas tree.
Oh yeah.
You know that? Now, do you know the secret to the Christmas tree cake?
Do you freeze it?
No, you can. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But you take a little knife and you split it in half and put a scoop of ice cream on that sucker. Bam! Ice cream sandwich, Christmas style.
That sounds good.
So good.
The only thing, aren't those are like
fudge on top of it?
Are those like little Debbie's?
Yeah.
So
they're like this big. So you gotta have like 3 of them.
And they leave that residue on your mouth, like that wax afterwards.
Yeah. Don't tell me all that stuff. No, I don't know I don't know what's in your mouth. No wax in mine.
I don't know, maybe, man. You know what I'm talking about? That icing.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the icing.
Yeah, it's like got that stuff on it, man. That just kind of leaves the stuff.
The stuff that leaves the stuff. There's a lot of stuff that leaves stuff. A lot
of
stuff
mouth. That leaves stuff, man. Yeah, and the Little Debbie's is one of them for sure. Little Debbie's is a thing, though.
All right, so I'll cut out Little Debbie's.
Well, one of the things that's been really helpful for me is just reading what I'm eating.
Yeah, you read it,
and then eat it. Read the actual
ingredients. Gotcha.
And then ask yourself, are these things that I want to eat?
Let's talk about this real quick. Let's dive into this because I feel like ingredients are sometimes like workplace job descriptions.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Where it says stuff on there, but there's more than what's actually on the actual container of the box.
Oh yeah, on the outside it says natural. Yeah, on the outside it says all kinds of stuff, and then you
go to the headquarters, or you run into somebody that knows something.
If I'm looking at something that's been made, in a factory, and I'm about to eat it, and it's got 20 ingredients, and it's this big, like nah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like all beef hot dogs. Is it really all beef?
Well. Could be.
What kind of beef?
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
Video YouTube hot dogs.
Yeah.
How they're made. It'll destroy your kid's life. All kids out there should definitely
to actually see how
what hot dogs are.
Put in hot dogs.
But hey, I'll take a ballpark dog in a minute.
I love hot dogs, man.
With an ice cold.
Hand me a glizzy and I'm happy, man.
Pause. Let's get on this HR because we got a good conversation over the next couple of weeks. Today, we're going to be talking about the future of work, culture, and leadership, some predictions. And this is 100% George and Ryanism.
Yeah.
What we believe, what we're hearing, what we're seeing, from companies that we're working with and leaders that we're leading and coaching and helping develop in organizations. Shout out to Culture Good again. Go to culturegood.com. want to find out more information, exactly what goes on at Culture Good, a lot of great things are happening. And you can learn more there at culturegood.com. Got a lot of
all
information.
Things culture and leadership, the things that we talk about on a weekly basis. If your organization is looking to develop and grow and become stronger, I talk to leaders just had a conversation yesterday with a business owner, and he was saying, we have a lot of great things that we love about the culture, but we don't really follow a structure. We don't follow a plan. We don't have there's not clarity in terms of where the community can join together and be a part of this as a collective. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to have a culture. It's because every company has a culture.
Yeah.
It's another when the culture has you, man. And when the culture has you, it's different. It feels different. It's goes beyond just your typical programmed engagement ideas. When we talk about innovative ideas and the future of work, we're seeing more that culture is not going to be something that's tacked onto the side of the business or stapled on to what you do every day as a, by the way, we also have this great culture. But the future of work as we see it is rehumanizing, interestingly enough, because as every industry pushes toward innovation and new technology, and to be able to have a business model that's more automated, and the use of robots and the use of AI, and everything's moving in the direction of less human. We're saying at Culture of Good, the future of work is rehumanizing the business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we know all of these things, that AI is going to replace a lot of jobs. And we'll go over some of that here in a little bit, but and also just in terms of what industry you're in.
Yeah.
I read a statistic that by 2030, 85% of jobs that exist in 2030 haven't even been invented yet. 85% of the jobs in 2030. It's not too far off, man. That's going to be 6 years. 6 years away from 85% of jobs. And so when we think about what am I going to be doing in the future, as leaders, we have to stay agile, right? We have to stay open, and we have to stay in terms of our thinking, progressive.
Yeah.
You want a new quote, man? I mean, the earlier one was good, right?
Yeah.
Every company has a culture, but not every culture, right? Whatever it was. There is a difference between you having a culture and the culture having you, right? As a business thinketh, so it is. If a business is thinking progressively, it'll be a progressive company. If the leaders think we need to keep things as is and not change anything, you know what I'm saying? Or if you have leaders in your business that are thinking like 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Then as a business thinketh, it's going to be that. It's going to be either you're going to be moving into the future, or you're going to be stagnant. And it all has to do with how leaders are thinking about the future. Are we open to change?
Yeah.
Are we change ready? Because change isn't just coming down the pike. It's happening right around us. Business has changed, right? And it's in a constant flux. And we're looking at today, exploring what are some of those innovative ideas that transform the workplace culture and leadership. Specifically, just coming into 2024, what are you hearing and seeing in terms of what the future looks like?
Yeah, I think, as far as the future goes and what it looks like, and we talked about this, some conversations have shrunk.
Yeah.
In the midst of importance. There are some organizations that talk about things, but when it comes to leading the way and actually focus, obviously some things that are still at the front line are those conversations on work, hybrid flexibility, and things of that nature, right? It's still going to be an ongoing conversation. I read that 83%, and this is an article, I had to find it to give them credit, but 83% of those companies that have already moved back into the office regret. 83% of them regret.
Oh yeah, I remember
bringing those people. I was like, oh my gosh,
the other day. Yeah,
we hear that that bringing people back. Why? Because it's that energy. They wanted to bring people back to bring, that unity, that culture, that feel. A lot of it is, hey, we got this huge facility that's not going to be able to be sold. Our rent's in it, and it's just going to this expense that we're not giving out. So we got to come back. There's a lot of business reasons why, and I get it. As a business person, I understand those things. But you're not in business just to be business. You're in business with people, right? And leading people, and that's hurt a lot of things. It's hurt retention in a lot of these companies where they say, man, I regret forcing people to come back to this office because I lost a lot of good people.
Yeah, it's how do we get the best out of people?
Production's not good,
and still do the best for them.
Yeah. And so the front conversation a lot is the work flexibility. What does that look like? One of the things, obviously, we keep our eye on that we're seeing a lot of, and is how do we support our managers? They're employees too. Our HR leaders, they're employees too, but yet they're. I always say it's like being torn between two lovers. Where when you're in the middle of leadership, you're like, hey, I'm part of the leadership team, but I also care about these people that I was a part of, right? I was a part of the frontline employees, and now I'm a leader or a manager, and I'm kind of torn between these two lovers of I want to leave these people and never forget where I come from and bring some of that voice up to this level, but also I want to make sure my leader, my boss understands I got the business first mentality.
Well,
what that looks like. Again, people first mentality helps business first. We talked about this last week, where a healthy people creates a healthy culture, and a healthy culture creates a healthy business.
Absolutely, man. What percentage? Well, it really depends on the industry, right?
Yeah.
It depends on the industry in terms of what we're talking about here. When it comes to remote work, I was having this conversation on a panel with a local company, and they were asking about this, and this conversation is has a lot of complexity to it, because every industry is different, right? You can't work hybrid when you're a nurse.
Yeah.
So
there's some virtual health things. They're small, but when it's a serious matter, you can't diagnose something when you need a CAT scan or MRI.
Well, and I think there are some of those things, right? There is remote nursing, that's growing. So when we think about workplace trends, we do know that technology is going to begin to not replace people necessarily in 2024. We're having that, and we're seeing that, and that's going to happen more and more in terms of banking and financial and technology and so forth. We're going to see some of those jobs begin to be replaced, right? But as they're being replaced, we're also new jobs, as we're talking about. That's why I wanted to bring up that 85% of jobs that are in 2030. The prediction is that they don't exist right now. And so the new is coming. And we have to be open to those conversations, because depending upon the industry that you're in, you're going to need to embrace these new skills, right? Because although more of the assembly lines and manufacturing, all that is going to be replaced at times with technology and potential innovation, there's going to need to be a human helping to run all of that, right? And so as we're thinking about not just what are the workplace trends, but what's the future for each of us as we're moving and living and working within this work reality, right? And so how do we have that? How are we change ready for the changes coming down the pike? Because it seems as though if we just stay with if we just stay with the what's common, we're going to have common results, right? But as a business thinketh, so it is. And so we have to think about, as leaders, are we thinking toward the future? Are we thinking about what our people are going to need in terms of skill development support? We're going to hit on that a little bit. But yeah, the remote work and the hybrid work, we had that session or the show probably about a month and a half ago or something, where we specifically talked about this.
Yeah.
I know there's companies that are looking at the hybrid being really important because it does help to have that face-to-face, don't you think? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like there's a different dynamic when we're in those work environments and I'm not looking at you through a screen.
Yeah, I think there's, and this question actually popped up on as a comment. Shout out to, Amber's out there trying to be funny. She said, "What about those donuts this morning?" So her cousin came over with some Long's donuts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Long's donuts.
You want to talk about how difficult that was just to walk out the door. So I hurry up and like gave the kiss and I was out. Right. But they're there for me later on.
Yeah.
If they're the right, if it's the right donut.
After 8 o'clock tonight, you said?
No, it's going to be when I get home. So, it'll probably be like 8:30, 9 o'clock because
don't be smashing donuts at midnight after
coaching basketball.
That is going to make you feel like.
Oh yeah, I won't do that. Yeah. They'll probably be right pre-snack before basketball. coaching third and fourth grade tonight. So, we'll see if they
go straight from a 3-day fast into donuts.
Long's donuts.
Oh, you got to throw those out, man. You can't have them in the house. I can't have stuff like, if I have anything like that in the house, I'm smashing it. Yeah.
So shout out to Bill Davis, Mr. William, family friend, said, what kind of trends are you seeing with remote workers and company culture? And this is something that we talk about a lot earlier in the year because we were dealing with this with a few of our clients, is that how do you create culture when there's nobody around? Mm-hmm. And we go back to the definition of how we define culture is how people feel, believe, and behave most of the time. How are they feeling about being at home and connecting or disconnecting virtually, right? That culture is still the root of those three things. And so, the importance of a lot of those situations, I believe, is the impactful opportunities that you do have. How do you connect with each other? Earlier on, it was virtual, Zoom, Microsoft, whatever it was, to get you virtually together, playing games. We were doing, coffee in the morning, coffee chats, cocktail hour on Fridays at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or 12 o'clock. Don't judge nobody. You don't know their situation. But, doing all these different things. But now, what's next? Like, what's the next thing? And I think a lot of companies, I was really intrigued with the companies getting people together, not at the work, not virtually, but saying, hey, let's meet up at a Top Golf, or hey, let's do some in-person things together, just to physically be in the presence.
The difficult is when we're becoming more and more remote, we can become more and more scattered across the country or world, right? You can have remote workers. So the idea of getting together physically, again, you have to build your business around what do you want your business essence to be. I think if that's not a primary concern and a big value for you, that human connection piece, I think that remote work dehumanizes business, to be honest with you. Hybrid work helps to rehumanize a little. That's if people are close enough to work hybrid, right? Where you have a certain percentage of time where we're getting together face to face, we're collaborating on a different level than when you're on screen. It's just the reality of it. And so, William, when we're thinking about how dehumanizing sometimes our practices are, as leaders, we have to start implementing experiences that rehumanize, that puts the human experience back into work. And that I think the hybrid model helps to do that. And then if we're building culture and we have some remote, some hybrid workers, then it's going to require a more concerted effort by leadership to put culture at the forefront and prioritize it. Because it's easier to have a culture when you have 10 people that are together all the time, right? And then when you're building a culture in, say, like TCC, as we did, scattered across, how many, 42, I don't know 43. How many, 43 states, that becomes more difficult. That dehumanizes or becomes a greater challenge to humanizing the experience because everybody's scattered, right? It's a decentralized culture. Centralized cultures are really easy to manage and maintain because everybody, you've got that family feel. As it grows, it expands. There's hybrid, there's remote. As leaders, we have to be far more intentional. So culture becomes a topic that's talked about on almost every call. There's a culture check-in, right? When we talk about checking in so your people don't check out, it's like, think about your cultural objectives and what you want to accomplish in 2024, prioritize those. And if you do have hybrid and remote workers, ensuring that you are curating those experiences where if there is the possibility of people getting back together once a week or twice a week, whatever it is, because like with us, right? Some of our work is remote, some of it's, some of it's hybrid, some of it's, which I guess if some of it's remote, it's hybrid, right?
Yes,
it's a hybrid model. So we work hybrid, but at least 2 days a week, we're face to face.
Yeah.
And that works for us. So the question is, what works for your culture?
Yeah.
What are your cultural objectives and what works for you?
Yeah.
Your industry, your workforce, all that.
Yeah. I think of remote work, and this is going to sound funny, but I just want to put it in my perspective. Like, how does George understand this? When I think about remote work and I think about it, like, how does this affect our company culture? I think about it in the terms of long distance relationship.
Absolutely.
Like, is a long distance relationship really healthy? Can it last? Can it work? And I'm always just one of those people that believe it'll work if you work it. Like, the piano is not going to work if you don't work it. The camera is not going to work if you don't power it on, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be some type of connection, power, and communication.
Yeah.
Right. That brings things together to working. And so when I think about remote work, one of the most important things in a long distance relationship is communication. How do we communicate?
The effort. It takes
how do we communicate?
Times.
How much communication do we need? As you're saying, the amount that takes place. Is it possible? I think all things are possible if people are open to those possibilities, right? Yeah. You got to be open to those possibilities and be able to communicate. And then I think it requires a different type of vulnerability and trust.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where me as a leader, I have to trust you that you're doing your job, that you're responding to me in a way that I need to be able to lead you virtually. And then there's some honest vulnerability in, Ryan, how are you truly doing? Because I know there's a ton of people, and we've seen this, a lot of mental health and well-being was really down. It destroyed a lot of people working at home.
Yeah.
COVID, the pandemic, forcing people. Yeah. That was a struggle for people. It was a struggle for me because I'm a person that likes to connect.
Yeah, you like to collaborate and
work together and be in person. I'm a touchy guy. I just like, I want to hug people. I want to shake hands. I want to punch people sometimes, but when HR's not around, punch them with love. Punch them with love. The like 5 Shannon. Promises.
Like our friend Shannon on the team.
Yeah.
She trains MMA fighters, so yeah. So she always destroys people with love, man.
Yeah. Beats them with love.
Beat them with love.
And hug them afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, Bill, to go back to that, remote workers and company culture, it takes a lot of work. It's possible, but there's got to be open communication and real, genuine feelings and thoughts of what's working, what's not working, because the worst thing to do is to lose a good employee, bringing them back and or keeping them remote. There's got to be a balance. And I think that's where we come into play. I love our culture here. I love our flexibility here. Yeah. I came here the other day and I think there was only 10 cars and there's probably 500 parking spots out here.
Yeah, I know.
But there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
And jobs are getting done. There's a lot of growth happening in this facility.
See, that's what I'm saying. It works.
It works. But I think having that freedom to say, you know what, I need to see people. Yeah. I can drive in here whenever I want to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
I think there's always going to be people here.
And there again, some organizations, companies, if you're in manufacturing, you're an assembly line,
totally
if you're a doctor, there's some things that are different with those type of jobs. And I think you understand that, certain things come with a job. You got to show up to do surgery.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why a lot of
AI and robots, and we can get in that conversation.
No, I think that's it. Right. I think when innovation continues to progress, we're going to need to be more intentional about rehumanizing business. I think the future of work is dependent upon leaders recognizing what we talk about every single week, that we're leading not an organization, we're leading an organism. It feels, it's breathing, it's alive, it's people.
Yeah.
To your point, healthy people make a healthy culture makes healthy business. And so a healthy business is a business that's effective and it's engaged. right? And so everybody's collectively feeling a part of what's going on. And when people don't feel a part of it, we have to address that. I think as we're making decisions to become more hybrid, we have to also consider, again, is this best for not just the business, but is this best for the people working for me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It has to work for both. It can't be great for business and horrible for people. You know what I'm saying? Like that can't work, because then people are not showing up, and they're not productive, and they're not hitting that level that we need them to perform, right? There's performance involved at work, and we need people performing at a high level, effective leadership. All of that's going to come down to, hey, is this working for me or it's not? And also, is this good for my employees? I think another trend, as we've been already in this trend, but as we continue to move into 2024, the trend toward the emphasis on mental health and well-being. Anytime we have an episode where we focus on this, it's our most listened to episode. Is it not? It's because people, to your point, dealt with during the pandemic their own mental health and the struggle of being alone many times, or being stuck in a house with just your family. You know, that's tough, man. And then trying to work, we saw all the videos where somebody would jump on Zoom and then their kids would be in the background beating each other up, like, and the dogs pooping on the floor.
You have to shut your door, and you get up to shut your door and you realize you just got underwear and a nice shirt on.
Yeah.
And then everybody knows.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Been there.
And so, that's something that we're talking about in terms of the well-being of our employees and people, and focusing on ensuring that we're integrating like mental health support into the daily work, and also those work-life harmony, like having strategies around that, working with people. We talk about it with the RSVP, checking in with people around their roles, right? How is that impacting your home life and your work-life harmony? Because we have to think about the future of work and we already know this, there is no work-life balance. The future work is not balance, it's harmony. It's about how do we harmonize every element of our life so that we not only feel supported by those we work for, but we can actually show up and support those that we work with. This isn't just about leading a team, this is about leading myself, and knowing that my mental health and my well-being is being prioritized. That's the future of work. And that is what's happening currently right now. I think that conversation, encouraging leaders to be more empathetic and more open to these conversations of saying, like, how do we bring love into the workplace? What's love got to do with it? A lot. It's got a lot. It's got everything to do with leadership. The future of work are leaders that are loving people, caring about people, showing that care, and also being effective and being productive and making profit, right? And having that purpose, but focusing on the well-being of people. And this feeds into the remote, the hybrid work. And when we're talking about is work working for people? How is it working for people? Not just how are people working for us? And that idea of, is this working for our team? Is our team really feeling the support from leadership beyond just how they work in terms of the model that they work, but when they show up to work, whether it's remote, hybrid, or in person, are those experiences draining, only stressful? And work can be that many times, right? Stressful, draining, but people get to a place of burnout when we don't have leadership that are continuing to keep that fire lit within us. You know what I'm saying? If we don't keep the fire lit, we get burnout.
You got to be keepers of, I used to always say, be keepers of the flame.
Yeah, man.
You got to
Keep
be
throwing those
somebody's
logs
going to
on.
stir, not just throw logs. You need people that sometimes you got to stir the log up and shake them a little bit.
Yeah.
To make sure that fire is not just on one side, but how do we keep that fire going?
The one
and
guy
there's balance.
the one person that stays up all night while everybody's sleeping in camp, and then everybody wakes up and the fire's still lit.
Yeah. Shout out to Nate on the south side. He's a pyro dude. He has the best bonfires in his backyard. His
what are you
family
burning, Nate?
are beautiful people. Out in Indiana.
What's in the fire? Is that
it's logs, man. It's logs.
Just logs?
It's not what's in the fires, it's what's around the fires to make the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the people.
It's the people.
The conversation. Community, yeah.
That's what they have.
Well, that's a good picture of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what is the experience that we're curating that brings people together?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Around something common. And that with the culture of good, and we talk about the future of work, we know that we've been doing this work for 10 years. And we also know that companies and a lot of businesses haven't yet embraced this philosophy that we have.
Right.
That business as a force for good isn't just a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's the future of work.
Yeah.
That when we are connecting our community around a bonfire, around doing good, around making an impact for our communities, around the well-being of not only the employees, but also the customers and the community. That's the future of work.
Yeah.
The future of work is motivated less by programs and more by, again, rehumanizing the business and asking what motivates us as human beings. I believe that every single one of us wake up every single day wanting to feel meaning and fulfillment. We want to know that our work and our contribution matters, that there's meaning behind it, and we're not just wasting time at work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so within that, we have to prioritize that and get very strategic as leaders to say, how are the experiences that we're curating as a business? Where's the bonfire at, right? What's the thing that's going to draw people together in terms of a community? Before I called culture of good, I was playing around with words around community.
Yeah.
I was going to call it like community of good or something around, around that word, because that's what culture is. It is community. It's relationship.
Yeah.
And business in terms of thinking about the well-being of and the mental health of our employees and our customers and our community, we're going to have to get very strategic around how we embed those opportunities and those models in the support that our employees need within the business.
Yeah. Do we have, before we get, because I want to share, talk about these, 4 key things that we believe change the workplace and like what that thing is, right? And where it's going, some of the changes that we see and updates. But do you have,
I have a come on, man.
You have a come on, man?
Yeah. And this applies really well.
Let's get this come on, man in, and then let's get into some of this.
Are you ready for this?
I'm born ready.
All right.
Shout out to Lynn.
I want to know whether you've heard this before and what you think about this.
All right.
You ready?
Hit me with your best. We got come on, man. We got some come on, man.
This is Come On, Man, brought to you by the Culture of Good. All right, check this out. This is by Rocker Scott on Anti-Work and Reddit. Okay, Christmas donations. You ready for this? I think you know where this is going. I'll start reading it and you'll know. I work in manufacturing. I get into work every day. Or I get into work today and there's a letter in my time card slot. I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's some kind of Christmas bonus, right? Or even a Christmas card. Nope. What do you think it is?
Poop.
Nope.
Every crazy
no, that would have been crazy shit in HR. This is come on, man. This is business doing stuff that's like, come on, man. What would be in a time card slot? Thinking that it's a bonus.
Oh, man, probably just an empty blank Christmas card that just says thank you.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Here it is. The owners that are literally multimillionaires have decided last year to eliminate production bonuses and profit sharing for everyone except for those working in the office. I got a 25-cent raise this year after exceeding expectations on my evaluation. So they're thinking, all right, this might be a bonus or even a Christmas card. Nope. It was a solicitation for donations to purchase the owners a Christmas present. The supervisors that receive production bonuses will run us like dogs so they can make more money, yet they have the audacity to act like they're doing me a favor by employing me. I honestly don't hate my job, so I'm not going to quit over some out of touch baby boomers.
Oh, wow.
But the thought of it just pisses me off. That, my friends, is a come on, man.
You know, so I'm thinking about this, and I think about, you know, where I've come from in the history, like, you know, in the church environment, there's an honor there, you reverence, and I've seen this in corporate business as well. When you said that, I'm thinking, man, I know about 4 or 5 people. I ain't gonna say what I want to say. I know about 4 or 5 leaders, managers that have done it that way, where it's like, and it's not necessarily always, I won't put the fault always on that leader, but it comes from somewhere is all I'm saying.
Usually people around that leader.
Yeah, it's the assistant, or that's, you know, that right hand guy that's trying to stay in the good graces.
Oh yeah,
you know, they got their bonus, but hey, let's ask our employees to chip in on a birthday and a holiday. Yeah, man, that frustrates me. I don't know why you just put me in a bad mood, because it brought up past memories of somebody asking me for money when I didn't get a raise.
Yeah. You know I mean, that's the whole thing. And
I'm living check to check this time.
Well, but think about what we're talking about in the future of work and how they responded by saying, I know this is out of touch baby boomers. Yeah. Remember, as a business thinketh, so it is, right? Yeah. And so if you have leaders that are out of touch, the business is out of touch.
Yeah.
And that's an indicator, and people start to check out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we have to think about what we're doing and how this impacts the perception, even. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I don't know. That was a come on, man. I was like, man, this is because I've seen it too.
That can be some crazy shit in HR.
Is your business doing that? Yeah. I don't know if you want to put that out there, but if your business owner is you know, you're right though. It's never the business owner sending out a message saying, buy me this present. It's always somebody that needs to get some brownie points.
But if we're going to say all things rises and falls on leadership, that stability, that standard is right. That's where standard has been set by that person.
Oh yeah.
Like the expectation. Why do I feel obligated to ask people that I know are struggling during the holidays and we're potentially about to lay off? Like there's so many different things that goes into that.
So many people getting laid off during the holidays, man.
And this is where, you know, your leadership is out of touch and not connected. You want to see a culture that's not good? Yeah. That's a culture that's not good.
Yeah.
When you're so disconnected from your people,
that you don't even realize
what you're doing and expecting, and you're not showing. Like, we know the company's doing well because it's a struggle. I used to struggle with that even in business when we had our retail stores. You know, I struggle with, and I like to just share things, right? If I'm on a trip, if I'm on a cruise, if I'm traveling with family, like I struggle. I still did it, but I struggled with because I didn't want the perception to be that, hey, we're making all this money. Just maybe I make good decisions outside of business life as well too. Yeah. Or maybe I made bad financial decisions and I shouldn't be out there traveling, right? But I want to experience the world because I've never seen a brink truck behind a hearse. And I ain't leaving no money.
But you're also
kids.
Thinking about the perception of people, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
and so it's just that feeling that you get where you just set that standard expectation.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because
I just went on a rant. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Let's get into that. Was like 10 minutes of
stop asking people for money when you ain't giving bonuses. That's it.
Don't try to reap what you have not sown.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to reap what you haven't sown.
A lot of leaders just think, well, my name is on your check, you should be happy.
Yeah, and that's false.
Yeah.
I write the check, you sign it.
Yeah.
Right. I write as an employee. This is a free tip that I'm gonna give out there, and then we're gonna get into these 4 things. I promise we're gonna get to these 4 things, but it's important to understand. It's important. Well, I'm just saying, I want people to understand as an employee, no matter what your title is, it's important that you understand who you are and the value that you have. Like, understand your value. Your value is beyond the monetary salary or hourly pay that you get. But the mentality that you must have going into 2024, you're going to end 2023 with this model, is that mentally in your head, you are the one who writes the check.
Yeah.
They sign it, but you write that check. You write what your value is, and you stay at that job because you wrote that value, or you're going to leave that job because you realize your value is no longer there. Not just about how they appreciate you and support you, but financially too, and or the most important, are they growing me?
Yeah.
Beyond money, I want to know, am I growing? If the moment Ryan in Round Room, I don't feel like I'm growing, is going to be the first day I'm gonna have a conversation with you, right?
Yeah.
Because growth matters more to me personally than it does financially. Because if I personally grow, a better George,
yeah,
is a better business.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
And so with personal growth comes financial growth.
Yeah.
That value there. But I want to encourage everybody out there that's listening to this podcast, value yourself. You write the check, the company just signs it. Now, some innovative ideas to change the workplace. Number one, we talked about a lot of these already, but I just kind of want to break it down. The hybrid work,
about the emphasis
on mental work,
and then that,
and AI. I want to we haven't talked a little bit. I want to dive into the AI piece because there's a lot of fear behind AI replacements.
Yeah,
and we got data that says,
right.
You shared a little bit of that in the teaser in the beginning, but understanding hybrid work environments, top changer. Number two, emphasis on mental health and well-being. That's going to always be at the forefront right now. We've seen a lot of the reasons why.
Yep.
You shared constantly in the first quarter, second quarter, the number of people that have committed suicide due to work-related stress and things of that nature. We talk about that on their AI and automation in decision making.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this because a lot of people says, George, like I feel like I'm gonna lose my job if I don't get into tech, or if I don't get out of technology. And Ryan's here to save the day and give you some encouragement. Ryan?
Well, by 2030, AI in terms of job creation is predicted to create upwards to 58 million new jobs.
58 million.
Yeah. In terms of, again, by 2030, 85% of our jobs are right now
here.
As we don't even know what those jobs even look like.
85% of the jobs is going to be available in 2030 have not yet started yet. They haven't formed. Now they may be on paper and vision and ready to launch, but as of 2023, the jobs are going to be there in 2030. 85% have not started yet today.
Yeah, even with automation, I mean, you need to have the human element in terms of human oversight, running the machinery, running AI. There is a lot of fear in terms of, am I going to be replaced? When we think about the financial sector, for instance, do you want, 8 people in cubicles doing all of your numbers and having the element of human error? Or do you want to utilize AI, and do you want to utilize new technology to be able to be more efficient, to be more precise in terms of numbers, right? It would be great at the end of the quarter to not have to say, hey, we messed up on some of our numbers, and that's going to impact everybody's bonuses.
Yeah.
So I think human error gets eliminated somewhat with AI. And what we're talking about, not just with AI, but also automation in general, jobs in manufacturing, jobs when it comes down to assembly lines, construction type jobs. A lot of that can be automated. A lot of it can be replaced with robot. I think it's really, I think back when I was a teenager, the first day on the job, when I was working for a concrete company, and I got dropped off with a shovel and tons of pea gravel, just a whole pile. And I was told, like, move this pea gravel over into this driveway. And had I had a backhoe or some type of machinery to move that, it would have been far easier to deal with that pile of pea gravel. And I see AI in that very same way. It can make work easier if we begin to embrace it, if we begin to understand how this is impacting not just the business in implementing new technology, but how is that technology going to impact our employees as well? Having that clear communication is going to be really key to be able to say, all right, do we start to just implement all these new ideas and these new programs and this new technology into the business without ever first tapping into our employee base and seeing, is this going to benefit their work? Is this going to make their work easier? Is this going to cause fear? How are we addressing that as leaders, right? Do we just start replacing people?
Yeah.
Or are we preparing people for change? Are people change ready for this revolution that's happening right now as we speak? That's why I think a lot of the jobs that we see today aren't going to be around in 5-6 years, right? But the new workforce and what the future of work looks like. I think one of the manufacturing industries that is going to need to be considered is like when we think about like Wiley Metal, right? And the work that goes into welding. There's going to be a massive shortage of that, but when we have those trade industries that are going into schools and high schools and creating opportunity for young people to connect into and utilizing AI in our processes, whatever industry we're in, beginning to tap into AI and saying, all right, doing that research and doing the homework and seeing, is AI, are there ways to automate work within our business that don't eliminate people, but they allow people to grow in new skills? And what do our employees need in terms of skill development to get there? Rather than just throwing something in and saying, okay, these people aren't ready for this, I'm gonna have to let them go and hire people that know what they're doing. That happens a lot of times.
So the importance then is we're saying leveraging the technology so that people can be more efficient, so they can be probably producing more, right? The performance then increases because then if you're able to focus on the business because you're not in the day-to-day, because you have the robust AI. And so embracing the technology, I think one of the hardest things to change for us as humans to adapt to is technology, right? We think about phones. When we grew up, we were doing this, right?
Oh yeah.
You had to do the rotary phones. And taking that next step to the cell phone, stages, and even now, what type of flip phone to a digital phone to, iPhone, the production iPhone, the Samsung, and even Google now, how they're developing technology. And we got rid of calendars, we got rid of cameras. Like the phone is now everything. It's our day-to-day.
Well, I haven't looked at a Rand McNally map in forever.
Like, I'm saying, we're not
when's the
printing
last
off
time
paper.
you looked at an atlas, man?
Yeah. So there's a lot of change.
Do you remember MapQuest?
MapQuest, yeah, we were talking about that. Like especially when your odometer doesn't work, you're all right, let's do 65 miles per hour, and in 45 seconds we need to start looking because the average mile is about 60 miles per hour. You get there, so we're like, all right, there was a lot of work there, but you have to adapt to that technology, use the technology.
We're doing it. That is AI.
Yeah, I think
we're already embracing AI in so many areas of our life. If you consider how you're using AI already, I think it takes a lot of the fear out. The fear is going to be who's getting replaced, why are they getting replaced? And if you see that you're in a type of industry that has the potential, starting now as an individual, I've even thought about it myself, taking some AI classes, even courses online, just getting an understanding, a baseline understanding. And that also is an opportunity for employees to stand out, to get a certification in AI or a new technology, maybe a new program that's being implemented in the organization that utilizes AI. It's rare that you're going to find any type of process that's going to not have AI moving into the future, just because it just works. And it's going to get better and better. In terms of embracing technology, we're doing it all the time. And that's going to be even more a requirement within the future of work. And I think employees are going to want to look and work for companies that are embracing progressive ways, right? And the younger generation is going to be looking toward that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. If you have any questions, we always love questions. Make sure you drop them in the chat. I want to encourage everybody to do that again as you're joining us here on Champion Your Culture, the podcast powered by Culture of Good. Want to end this with some key actions that our leaders, our managers, our HR people out there, our business leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, businesspreneurs, jobpreneurs, pooppreneurs, whatever newer you are.
Manure.
We want manure or maneuver. You want to get some action steps. And I think some of those things that are important for those who are listening. I think one of the highlights I had last week, and I didn't share this with you, every week we get these people that come up to us, whether we're downtown, at our little coffee shop we like to hang out with or eating lunch, even walk around to different places. I visit a couple of Verizon TCC stores. And every week it seems like now over the last month I've gone consecutively where somebody's like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you need to subscribe.
Yeah. So I want to encourage you, subscribe, go to our YouTube, go to Google, Apple, Spotify. If you support us, and we appreciate that, the best way you can help support us and grow our network is subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, as well as our YouTube. That helps us out. And don't just subscribe, like, comment.
Yeah.
Even if you like it. If you don't like it, let us know.
Yeah.
Or
tell someone else.
Tell someone else.
Yeah. We want people sharing with their colleagues, and the phrase is stop hiding, start subscribing.
Somebody shout out to Jarrell down in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. He said, "Man, just subscribe. We got a subscriber that just popped." That's what reminded me. So shout out to Jay. If
anybody else is listening right now and you subscribe, let us know, and we'll give you a shout out. We just really love the community part of this, honestly, because sometimes we're like in this studio wondering if people are hearing.
I mean, I get a lot of hanging out with you and chatting. I don't know, as much as we do this for the people. Yeah. Again, I feel like I get a lot out of this
for the people.
So shout out to all those. Shout out to our new subscriber, J Real down in Atlanta. I want to give them a little shout out. J Real's a Team Up North fan, and their team won, and so shout out to J Real. If you want to go to Atlanta and have a good time, have a good party.
Is this an invite?
Yeah, this is an invite.
Okay,
now,
I'll go.
You may lose your wallet, your keys, or your car hanging out with J Real, but
great.
You will have a night to remember with J Real. So I may or may not have those experiences in my life, Bucket. But anytime I go to Atlanta, he always takes me to a good spot, food spot. He knows everything around the city.
That's awesome.
He's on point with that. So shout out to him. Action steps. We're going to end this, recap this in the next 3 minutes. Evaluate and adapt leadership styles.
Yeah.
I think the key to this is the evaluation. Mm-hmm. I think the challenge for many, and I say this not negatively, but positively, because I believe the outcome of anything you want to do always starts in your mind. If you believe it, you'll receive it, you'll live it, and it'll come to life. Now, if you say, I hate change, adapting to everybody else's style, they should adapt to me, then you should not, my friend, be a leader.
Yeah.
Great leaders always adapt to those situations and adapt to your people, because everybody's different. If you're changing remote workers versus in-person workers, you got to change your leadership style on how you communicate and adapt to those things. So encouraging those leaders and really getting them to grow and align with their people, showing up for them, not necessarily always in a physical presence, but being there, showing that you care, whether it's verbal, whatever their love language is, whether there's affirmation, right? Time, maybe they need a little bit more time, but showing up and having a true heart of empathy.
Well, that's going to rehumanize the business too, and having some agility too. You think about a running back that's not agile.
Yes.
They can run over people. But in terms of getting around all the complexities of what's coming at them, agility is going to adjust based on what's coming, right? So when we think about the future work, it's going to require, leaders to be more empathetic, to rehumanize a business, also to be agile in terms of saying, we need to be change ready.
Yeah.
I mean, really, companies that have leaders that are change ready are going to succeed. Companies that don't have leaders that are change ready will fail, because change is inevitable. It's happening consistently. In small towns, it's easier to kind of keep to the old ways and do things as they used to be.
Yeah.
But everything's online now.
Yeah.
You can't run things like you did 20 years ago. And so being agile in that and just evaluating your leadership and saying, am I change ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do I need to take an AI course? What skills and development do I need to be focused on? Because that's a big one in terms of where we're at in the future of work. Not only what we talked about, the hybrid, the mental health and the AI and automation, but the continuous learning and skill development. Am I ready for change that's coming? And not everything can be predicted, right?
Right.
But what can be predicted is we're going to have to rehumanize the business on a very deep level as everything becomes more focused on technology and automation. The call for leaders to rehumanize business is louder than it's ever been.
Yeah. So evaluate and adapt leadership styles. Number 2, invest in technology and training. Invest is a key word, right? Invest in yourself individually as an employee. I want to invest in myself. I'm always trying to learn, whether it's reading a book, listening to books, audiobooks, podcasts, whatever it is. I'm always trying to learn perspectives and things of that nature for all things cultural leadership, DEI, those things that matter to me, mental health, well-being, some of those things that educate myself, the health, physical health, right, on those things. But when we talk about investing in technology and training, we're talking about balancing, again, even with AI, as we talked about, balancing AI, because at the end of the day, AI and technology is great, but you still have human in a part of that.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about that in 60 seconds or less on how we invest in technology and training, the impact that it makes on the human skill development.
Yeah. I mean, you have to balance technological advancement, right? And implementing the technology with how it's what we've been talking about this whole show. It's how are we developing our people, not just advancing technologically, but how are we advancing on a human scale? How are we scaling our human potential?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And utilizing technology to do so. I think rather than looking at culture and leadership as something that's just going to take some new technology that we can plug and play. To your point, we need leaders that are actively involved, because as we're checking in with people, the RSVP we talk about, your roles, strengths, your values, and your purpose, we're able to identify. You can use AI to identify what skills people need, but only until you work alongside someone do you really know them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if we're just going to focus on AI to know our people, that's like knowing someone because you met them on eHarmony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not meeting some, you only know someone really well when you're around them. And so I think that human scaling, right? Scaling the human potential and recognizing that there's diverse perspectives and equitable opportunities for employees to connect into the business. We've talked about DEI and how important that's been, and how, is there going to be another surge of that coming up? And we don't know the future of all of those things. And so as we're implementing toward the future, we're saying, how does the technology we're using lead us toward a place where we're living up to our values better?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that should all stay connected into who we are, is what we're actually doing.
Yep. And then the last 2, foster a culture of open communication. And I think you do this by creating strategies and for ensuring that transparency, being transparent, and that culture of open communication, where we say this again, this is not for constructive criticism, but constructive feedback. How can feedback is a conversation that we have together, so that open communication has transparency, and it really is about us as a team, not just the leader saying to you as an employee, but the employee and the team having that involvement and being a part of that as well. So having that culture of communication is so vital. And then the last one, plan for long-term well-being initiatives. We talk about this, the importance of continuous learning and development, and really as leaders, inspecting what you're expecting. We talked about that last week, where, hey, how are we growing? We want to grow the business, but part of growing the business is growing our people. How do we make our people better and more sustainable, not just as people, but our strategies, our programs, our initiatives that we have as a business? How do we get this so that we have a healthy business? Because we know if a healthy business is healthy, then our employees are also healthy.
Yeah.
And I want to say happy, but happiness is a choice.
Happy. Yeah. You know, we want happier people.
Yeah.
We can't make people happy, but we can curate experiences,
create opportunity and
be
happier.
Yeah. You know,
I'll be miserable in 80-degree heat house.
I mean, if leaders can't curate experiences that provide a level of happiness, then they can't produce experiences that create a level of burnout and sadness. Right. But that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So we have the potential of doing this. And I think with the culture of good and our perspective in terms of balancing that technological revolution and everything that's coming down the pike and what we're facing with the rehumanizing of business and recognizing at the very core of who we are, we want to connect. We're wired for connection. We're wired for support. We need people around us that care about us. Yeah. Man. I care about you, bro.
Care about you too.
I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
I appreciate it. We care about all of you out there listening and joining us every week. And again, if you want to subscribe and be a part of this, we'll be back here next week.
Back and better than ever, my friend. We appreciate everybody watching. Again, if you want to learn more about Culture Good, you can check out culturegood.com. You can see it on your screen right here, and you can check it out, culturegood.com. Until next week, my friend.
Yeah, we'll see you back here next week on Champion Your Culture. Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us on Champion Your Culture podcast today.
We're so excited that you're here and want to invite you to connect with us. You can watch the show weekly on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and listen anywhere you get podcasts.
Subscribe today to get new relevant content each week on how to champion yourself and your team. Thanks again for listening to Champion Your Culture.